Catwoman #1, written by Judd Winnick, art by Gillum March. I read this comic at work. Do not read this comic at work. For the love of God, this is not safe for work. Just to briefly explain why, we open up. Catwoman is running through her apartment trying to get her costume on. Somebody's trying to break in. Somebody she pissed off by stealing something from. She doesn't even know who they are. They're all wearing skull masks, though. She leaps out the window before they can get to her. She's like, all right, well, I don't know who these guys are, but I'll swing by back in a couple days once the heat is off, and I'll get my stuff. And then her apartment explodes, and she's like, all right, different plan. She goes and talks to a friend of hers named Lola, who was a showgirl, as specifically mentioned. She says, hey, I need a place to stay. Can you find me something? She's like, what's wrong with my place? She's like, you want me living here? She's like, no, but why all the judgment? And then she basically needs a job of being able to, get some money because she lost all of her stuff in that explosion. Lola mentions that the penthouse of this hotel is going to be empty for a few weeks. She's like her informant. She's the person, she's the guy behind the chair sort of deal. But it's just this woman who was a showgirl and apparently just has connections. So she can stay in the penthouse, and then she's got an idea for a job of like this Russian mafia thing. But the only way that she can get information on it is by listening in where they feel they can speak openly, which is this very seedy strip club. So she goes in dressed as a bartender so she doesn't have to be groped by dirtbags. Quote, not that I mind groping or even dirtbags, but it's the combo that I can do without. Anyway, she overhears some guys talking that there's a painting that's completely worthless, but it means a lot to some guy up in charge, so it actually holds a lot of worth to him. And Catwoman's like, sounds good, I'll take that. But then she hears this guy named Renaud, who I guess is supposed to be in jail because of some awful, terrible thing he did. It looked like he shot some woman in front of Selina when she was a kid. And he's supposed to be in jail, but he's not now. It kind of just flashes by that real quick. But anyway, she follows Renaud into the bathroom. And there's a panel here of her getting closer to him in a way that he would enjoy, and then she unleashes just this flurry of slashes on him. Good panel layout here. It's a lot of blacks and whites and reds just for the blood and her disguised hair. Anyway, the real bartender apparently woke up because she was chloroformed this whole time, so she has to put on her Catwoman gear to make her exit. She fights through the club, makes her escape, and then goes to this penthouse where she's like, wow, all right, so that was kind of a lot. Batman is there waiting, like, hey, I heard your apartment got firebombed. Are you all right? She goes and makes out with Batman. Batman's like, we're not doing this again. And then, very explicitly, they are doing it again, and it ends in this penthouse, quote, and most of the costumes stay on. The art's great. The art's fantastic. It's very nice looking. It has this watercolor sort of coloring to it. I really like it. It's got a good feel to it. The attack scene in the bathroom, very violent. I really like how they did that. The issue comes down to the writing and the characterization of Selina Kyle, a.k.a. Catwoman. In that, wow. Like, wow. It's just like, okay, so there's a difference between being objectified and then being proud of your own, like, body and whatnot. And half of this is her being proud of herself. Like, that's fine. But then, like, the very first panel, I'm not kidding, the very first panel is just a close-up on her chest in a bra. And then, as she's breaking out of the apartment, it's her ass in latex. And then a full page spread of her leaping out a window, but her costume's not fully on, so we still get to see the bra. And I'm like, none of this is necessary. This all just feels like you just really wanted to, you know? You just wanted to show this off. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure he did. I'm sure this was, you know, hey, exclusively to that. And then like all the dirtbag, like the groping line that I mentioned before, it all just feels a little bit. This isn't okay 10 years later, guys. Like, if modern DC, if the comics that are being published now saw this, they would be like, oh no, back to the drawing board for you. Art's really gonna carry this one. I'm gonna give this 5.5 because overall it does feel kind of average. It just feels really icky, and the good lord, the sex with Batman on the. But you know what? I'm bringing it down to a 5 actually, just because of that ending. Because it's just, it's just exploitative. Oh no. Okay, so 5 for Catwoman #1. Please let me read my comics at work.